Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky. Good morning. I'm Jana.
I'm Jason.
And we are living lucky.
You are too.
We started to tell you the story about Dory.
Dory from Finding Nemo.
Not to build up a bunch of anticipation. That's like storytelling no 101.
This is storytelling 102. Or 201. Is that how it goes? It's been a long time since I've been in college.
Jason went to a celebration of life last week and he meets this woman named Dory.
Funny, just energetic, swimming all around through the guests.
And go ahead, tell the story. What does she say?
She's meeting someone or getting back together with someone that she's met at the end of the party, and they're exchanging information, and the other person says, "Oh, I won't forget that." And Dory says, "Oh, I'll probably forget myself." And it took me a minute to register because I know that she had been talking about Finding Nemo, and Dory is the character in Finding Nemo that just forgets everything, just from moment to moment.
Right.
And it just then when it registered, "Oh, I'll probably forget myself," I was like, "Oh, I get it. It's a Dory reference."
And of course, there were other people in the circle that had met Dory before. And this is a joke that she often says, often tells. It has become the story of her life.
Yes. And it was a mixed crowd. So there were probably 4 or 5 people around. And as it was a group of people that had heard it before, got it, immediately laughed, which triggered me to get it.
Right.
And then the rest of the party.
Because you're like, why is everyone laughing?
Right. And then then as other people started getting it, it was a delayed reaction. It was almost like a slow burning fuse that went through everyone. And then they got it as a reference to the Finding Nemo Dory.
Okay. So to explain to anyone who has not seen Finding Nemo is a fish, a goldfish.
Clownfish.
A clownfish. Now, fish, if you don't know this, only have a memory of 8 seconds. In fact, if you've ever seen the show Ted Lasso, they have an episode where they joke about you should be a goldfish because then you only have the memory of 8 seconds and you won't remember all the trauma that you accumulate throughout your life.
Right.
In fact, they say, just be a goldfish.
Just be a goldfish. Forget about it.
Forget it.
Forget about
Let
it.
it go.
Fugazi.
Just be a goldfish. And so...
I hope that's not a bad word, fugazi.
We don't even know.
I don't know. So ban me.
just be a goldfish and forget that Jason even said that.
Forget about it.
Anyway, when Jason was telling me this story, I thought, the more she tells this joke, the more she's going to manifest.
Forgetting about it.
Yeah, she's going to end up with Alzheimer's disease. Kid you not. That's going to be her life story.
Well, we see this happen over and over and over again with the words that we speak. And it is funny because of the reference. However, when we keep speaking things into existence, those things tend to start existing. Either
that's going to be her story, is she's going to start forgetting things, or she's going to be very, very memorable. So it can work both ways.
Because you intentionally,
take note.
It's like, don't think of a pink elephant.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we're all thinking of pink elephants.
Right.
But again, the words we speak
matter.
They matter because they create the stories that we attach meaning to, which create our reality.
Oh.
And that is what Living Lucky is all about. We create our reality by the thoughts we have and the feelings that we attach to them.
That's so big. And when we're creating these stories and we're choosing the words, we have the ability to choose those words. So when we talk about, okay, well, what kind of language am I going to use?
Yes.
We don't have to forget anything. Mm-hmm. So I want to just go back to the forgetting.
Yes.
There's nothing in our past, I don't believe, that we need to forget. There are things in my past a long time ago that I thought, I want to forget that. Mm-hmm. But then I think about through all this, personal development and looking within, there's nothing that I want to forget because who I am today I love and I'm excited about, and I'm excited about where I'm going. But I couldn't be who I am today without having gone through what I went through yesterday or all the yesterdays before.
Yeah. So I guess what you're saying is if you have the choice to forget, you don't want to forget.
Well, what I've done is I've re-looked at the story and I've re-looked at how I was telling the story, because a lot of times what I did was I told the story from a narrative of what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what I wanted to forget, what happened to me.
Instead of how did it happen for me?
What did I learn and how did I grow through it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's growth in any type of pain, or there's pain in any type of growth. It's just uncomfortable. You're in a new area, you're in a new situation. So when we're telling the story, are we focused on the discomfort, on the change?
Yes.
Or are we focused on how I'm becoming who I'm meant to be? And I realize that there are some things that are tragic, like some of those things that are like forced growth,
right?
Like unexpected growth. But when we come out the other side, we have the ability to say, okay, well, who am I now? Who can I be? What do I want? Like, and that's where we get to start that's where we get to start putting meaning on what I'm becoming.
So I guess what you're saying, it's not only important how we tell the story, but it's also important how often we tell the story. So, what you're saying is spin the story to your advantage.
I call it a helpful truth.
A helpful truth, or spin positive.
There's a lot of truths. There's so many different versions of the truth.
And you can either be the hero or the victim of your own story.
Yes.
So why not be the hero of your story?
When you get a right to choose, why not choose the hero?
Or hear how this has helped you, or how it's been a gift to you, or how it's been some sort of lesson,
When we choose the victim,
how your mess has become your message.
A lot of times when we're choosing the victim story, we're choosing that to protect us from something.
Right.
We're choosing that to say, this is a reason for me to be able to stay here and not experience what life has to offer going forward.
Okay, so I guess our first little tidbit is how you tell the story, or what story you choose to tell. And then the second part of this is, how often are you telling that story? So in the case of Dory, I mean, if this is like her little go-to party joke or her go-to introduction of how she introduces herself, and I get it because I've often introduced myself as Jana Banana, right? Mm-hmm. That has become my story, and I've attached meaning to it in a positive light, and you'll have to listen to my TED Talk in order to hear that story. So if she tells this story, probably, hundreds of thousands of times in her life, it's going to become her reality. In fact, right before we press play on this podcast, I happened to get a message from our old foreign exchange student. And she sent me a reel of
the Piano Man.
Billy Joel, Piano Man.
Sing us a song, you're the Piano Man.
And he said he didn't really like that song when he wrote it. However, it became his life story. And it was a catchy tune. He said it was a limerick and it was catchy. And, it was actually a waltz. But the more that he sang it, it became his life story.
Well, so think about how often we tell a story. And what I like to, because I'm a visual person and I like to tell through analogies and metaphors, think of a story that you tell as walking through a meadow, or walking like a full meadow or a forest. And the more you take that path, the trail gets worn. And this is how we create the rut. This is how we create the path that we know. And the more you tell it, the less you're going to take a different path, or the less you're going to take anything that's new or unexperienced, which just creates the law of habituation and what is now created throughout your life. So you start, and this is how you really create your reality.
which is why we named our company Living Lucky. Living Lucky. People are like, why do you call it Living Lucky? Living Lucky. And I say, because we feel blessed. We feel chosen. We feel like we're winning. We feel like God is working in our favor.
Yeah.
We feel so grateful for everything that has been given to us. We feel like opportunity is all around us. We feel like abundance and prosperity, and people are just so generous and kind.
And since we've started doing this, we have been walking with a different type of swagger.
And what has been happening?
People keep saying, hey, what they gravitate to
How
us.
can we get in your sphere?
And they say, what are you doing? Like, what is it? I want to know what you're doing. What is that secret sauce?
How can we work with you?
And we keep explaining that. Like it is a belief system.
It's a mindset.
It is a mindset. It is training yourself to use the right words.
It's a way of thinking. It's a way of feeling, and it's a way of giving to others. It's a way of supporting others. It's a way of helping people along the way. And it's a way of changing your energy. It's a way of co-creating with God. It's a way of letting God work through you.
Well, and when you take all that and you dissect it, because everything that we do is because of what we think and how we feel.
Yes.
Like that's motion or emotion is energy in motion, right? And all the things that we think and feel create what we are doing.
It's energy.
Yes.
Energy is life.
And so that's when we're living lucky, we show up like we're living lucky. We give like we're living lucky. It's just an energy that creates this vortex that brings people in, and it's fun and it's exciting because
it's living in a different frequency.
It's really
tuning into a higher self.
And it's a choice. It literally is a choice. It's whether you believe you are or believe you're not. You're right. And where would you rather be? Would you rather be living lucky or would you rather not?
I know where I am.
I know where I am. And we hope that you are too. And we know that if you're here with us right now, you're living lucky.
All right. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, visit us at startlivinglucky.com.